Okay, so the story we're talking about is Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. So we're getting our actors ready. We're signing roles right now. So this guy is going to be Mr. Bennet and Mrs. Bennet, main character family. The Bennets have 5 daughters. We'll take her out here. So there's 5 daughters from oldest to youngest. The most beautiful is Jane. She's the oldest, who the mom is hoping to marry off first. The dad is hoping to marry off Lizzie first, but only to someone who's as smart as she is. She's pretty as well, but she's the smartest of the 5. And then there's the 3 youngest gals. So far, we've reached halfway through the book, and they really talk mostly about these 2 daughters. Not so much these. These are, they're interested in the military men who are coming off the ships, maybe marrying an officer, right? So anyways, Mr. Bennet, Mrs. Bennet, and the Bennet sisters. The ones who are the most important ones are Jane Bennet and Lizzie Bennet, who also goes by Eliza or Elizabeth. So her first name is Elizabeth. Lizzie and Eliza are nicknames. Okay, so in the beginning of the story, we learned that a very handsome, well, we don't know if he's very handsome, but we know he's single, and he's from England, from London. He's coming into town, and he's buying this big house, very wealthy. So back in these days, in the 1800s, women could not work, and they were a liability for the family because they would have to pay for their lives or marry them off somehow. So this is an opportunity for the Bennets to make the daughters attractive to this young guy who's single coming to town, who they assume are shopping for a wife. Okay, so they do meet. Mr. Bennet does arrange for the family to meet Mr. Bingley, and Mr. Bingley is hot for Jane. He really likes Jane, right? So we'll put him right there.
Wait, he's what?
He really likes Jane. So everyone can tell, and they like each other.
He got the hots for her.
He has a hot for her. So Mr. Bennet has a very hot friend. He comes to town, and whoo, he's super handsome, and everyone, yeah, he's so gorgeous. His name is Mr. Darcy. Now, the problem is,
He starts out being popular.
He starts out being popular because he's handsome until they hear him speak, and he's very proud. He doesn't really.
So he's not humble like.
He's not humble at all. So
Last year he was so popular, but now he's not popular anymore.
Right. So Mr. Bingley tells his friend, "Hey, Mr. Darcy, have you seen Elizabeth Bennet? She's beautiful and she's smart." And he says that mingling with anyone in this room is a punishment. He's just so, full of himself. So anyways, Elizabeth hears this, and she's like, I am not a punishment. No one's a punishment here. So she's already doesn't like Mr. Darcy because he's too conceited, proud. So Elizabeth tells her friend Charlotte, she says, can you believe that guy? So anyways, there's a development here. Mr. Bingley likes her. Mr. Bingley is at the new home that he purchased with his friend Darcy, but he also brings his sister. We'll make her. This is Miss Bingley. And Miss Bingley has a problem because she doesn't believe that her brother should marry a lowly farm girl when there's other girls that he should marry. She actually wants Mr. Bingley to marry Mr. Darcy's sister. We'll call this Mr. Darcy's sister, right? So she's trying to pull him away because she can see, oh my goodness, he's attracted to her. I've got to block this, not let it happen. And so she tries to block it. And then she also sees that Mr. Darcy is interested in Lizzie, and she can't have that either, right? because she has plans for Mr. Darcy, because he's also single, right? And the sister, let me see. So this sister is against all of them, right? So there's another sister, we'll call this sister. So this is Mr. Bingley's other sister who is married to Mr. Hurst. Okay, so these are all the people, except the sister. She's back in London. These are all the people right now staying at Mr. Bingley's house in London. These are all the people staying in the Bennett home, minus Charlotte. Charlotte is a friend.